Hey, welcome to my cricket stories, and today we will talk about India versus Sri Lanka, the 2011 World Cup final, which took place on this day at the Wankhede Stadium. I was one of the fortunate people to be there at Wankhede to witness history being created. And the reason I'm talking about this event is because it had such a great impact on my life. It inspired me to chase my dreams and it inspired me to do what I'm doing right now. So had the 2011 World Cup not happened, that is India's victory in the 2011 World Cup, I'm not really sure whether I would have actually pursued what I'm doing now with the kind of energy that I did. It had that kind of an inspiring effect on me. Now, going into the World Cup, we all remember there was a lot of talk about it being Sachin Tendulkar's last World Cup, possibly, and the whole country wanted it for him. He had been playing for 21 years, had come close to lifting the trophy in 2003, but 2011 seemed like the moment. It was at home, a team led by MS Dhoni, which had all the ingredients to go all the way. Now, the tournament saw a few highs, then there were a few blips along the way, but then India peaked at the right time, as I like to say. Now, from a personal perspective, I'd like to tell you that in 2011, I was in my third year of law school. Midway through law school, I had realized this is not something that I want to do. And I was in that spot in life where I really had to decide what direction I would go. And one of the things I started doing in January 2011 is started writing a cricket blog. And by March 2011, I was lucky that I got a breakthrough and I started writing for a website called cricketcountry.com. For me, it was a big moment. And it came at a time when India's World Cup campaign was just starting. And one of the games I witnessed earlier was between India and Netherlands at Delhi, where Yuvraj Singh was in great form. Again, India peaked at the right time, as I said earlier, against Australia. That run chase, what a game that was. It still remains one of my favorites. Then the India-Pakistan game, humongous fanfare around it, a lot of pressure around it. But then the final. I remember taking a train from Jodhpur to Mumbai, and it was 2 days before the World Cup final, and I actually skipped a test to come down to the World Cup final. Now, a test in intellectual property versus a World Cup final. What would you select? Of course, the World Cup final. And as I boarded the bus, in college we used to have a bus that used to take us down to the railway station. And as I boarded the bus, the teacher who was taking the test the next day actually came in. And he's like, "Where are you going?" I said, "Sir, I'm going for the World Cup final." Now he knew the importance of the moment, so he didn't really say anything. He just said, "Goodbye. Just make sure that India wins." So then, obviously, it's not something we can ensure, but that's what he said, and I really thank that professor of mine for giving me that kind of freedom. Then I came down to Mumbai, and on the day of the final, we all woke up with a different feeling. I still remember it. Some days you wake up and you feel you will witness history, and since I was going to be a part of it, being there at the Wankhede Stadium just as a college student, it was going to be simply amazing. And I got there at 11 o'clock. The game was to start at 2:30. One of my uncles actually managed to get a ticket. He got one for me in the MCA pavilion on the south side of the Wankhede. He got a ticket at the north end and the north stand on the third tier, or sorry, the second tier. So it was like we were at two opposite ends of the ground. And we got there at 11 o'clock. Huge security. The game was to start at 2:30 and then we were let in. I remember I was one of the first people to go in, seat number J226 at the MCA pavilion. Now you could see that the whole crowd had gathered there and all eyes were on this team led by MS Dhoni. And the kind of emotion that I felt during the national anthem, it is simply amazing. Everybody singing the national anthem in unison, everybody hoping for the same thing to come true. And Sri Lanka actually had a tough innings, but only due to the brilliance of Mahela Jayawardene and some late hitting at the end, they got to a very good total in the World Cup final. And we had those moments during the World Cup final where you felt that India had complete control, but Sri Lanka kept coming back and kept throwing their hat in the ring. But the Indian run chase, I still remember what had happened was that Sehwag got out second ball and then Sachin Tendulkar 31 for 2 in I think the 7th over with Lasith Malinga bowling, and there was pin drop silence. You could just hear the Lankan music and the Lankan fans. There were a few people around me. Some of them had flown down from the US, some of them were people from Mumbai and other parts of the country as well. There was this one pair of father and son. The moment the second wicket fell, that of Sachin Tendulkar, they actually started the Hanuman Chalisa just so that India is blessed. And right through the innings, when Virat Kohli and Gautam Gambhir helped India recover, there was still that tension. And then when the third wicket fell, MS Dhoni walks out and everybody feels, what is happening? Why isn't the informed Yuvraj Singh coming in? And why isn't he playing? But then if you looked out, you would have seen that there were two off spinners on the Sri Lankan side, Muthaiya Muralidharan and Suraj Randeep. So from a cricketing perspective, it was a brilliant move by MS Dhoni to go in there and soak in the pressure. Heading towards the winning runs, I still remember there was that expectation with 4 runs needed of 11 balls that MS Dhoni is going to go for the big one. And I must say that 6 actually landed just 10 odd seats away from me, and it just happened in slow motion, although you would feel that the ball travels at a pace. But then that kind of moment, we all see these things happen in movies where things happen in slow motion, but that moment actually happened in slow motion for me. Now the reason I'm sharing this is because I was at that point in life where I needed an inspiration. What to do? Which direction should I go? Is it worth it chasing dreams? And then ultimately when this comes true, it just inspired me so much that hang on, there is something that I can genuinely do. There is something that I can chase out there. If that is cricket writing or talking about cricket as I'm doing now, getting into the sports industry, it is something that I can genuinely do. A man there waited for 21 years to lift the World Cup. And that kind of power of inspiration, very few moments can give that to you. And it's like a butterfly effect. These players have achieved something on the field. Yes, everybody is happy, but a lot of them don't know the kind of impact it can have on someone's psychology. When I went back to university, I went with this mission that I'm going to focus a lot more on my cricket writing and improving my knowledge on cricket. And that paid dividends. Within a year and a half, I managed to make my debut on national television. Then within 4 years, I was there at the next World Cup. I've done 2 World Cups now. I've been at other ICC events, worked with the IPL, and it's really been a dream come true. And all of that because of the inspiration that I had after India won the 2011 World Cup. And I thank all those players who made it possible. Now, when we spend so much time, so much time in this profession, you lose that sense of being a fan and you become a professional. But you never forget the moment that changed your life, the moment that told you that you can go and do something and achieve what you really want. And thankfully, it has really happened for me. And the only thing that I'd like to say is that when you get such moments in life, take that energy from that, put it in yourself and go and chase your dreams, because ultimately it is worth it. Now last year I remember when I was doing a game during the IPL at the Wankhede Stadium, and I walked by the MCA pavilion. My seat in the MCA pavilion was seat number J226, and I just looked into the stand and one of the floor managers was with me, and I said, look at that seat, J226, it's around there. And that was where I was sitting when we won the World Cup. And my friend, that floor manager, PD his name is, he told me, wow Nishad, just look at it. A few years ago you were sitting there and now you are here. And I just had goosebumps when he said that, because a lot of the times we don't appreciate what we've achieved, but more than appreciation, I was really grateful for what I've been able to do, and really grateful for all the opportunities, grateful for the fact that that World Cup happened and it inspired me to take action and to chase my dreams. Another thing that I'd like to show you is my ticket of the 2011 World Cup final. This is it. And a year later, I went on to meet Sachin Tendulkar and I got it autographed by him. When I showed this ticket to him, he really had, his eyes lit up looking at it, and he said, oh, you were there. And I was like, yes, I was there. And this is again this is probably the most valuable part of my collection, and it's never going to leave my sight, and I've kept it really, really safe since then. So all I'd like to say is that when you get that moment, be it from outside, and if it inspires you, just let it inspire you and take action. Thank you so much everyone for joining me.